So you want to write more, but you don't know what's holding you back. These are 5 tips to become a prolific writer. Now, I am a self-published poetry book author. Supernova is my debut poetry novel, available on Amazon. It has 150 poems, and a lot of poems didn't even make the cut. I think there was about 300 poems when I was editing the book, and I've written hundreds of poems since then. I'm also a full-time student, and I work part-time, so you can take it from me that I am a prolific writer. And once you hear these 5 tips, you will be one too. Be sure to stay to the end because I'm going to recommend a really good book, and the last tip is my personal favorite. Tip number 1 is to make where you write really accessible and easy. For me, that's the Notes app because I always have my phone on me, and it's the easiest place to write without having high stakes. I find that Google Docs, Word documents, they make you feel like it's very professional and it needs to be like really good, but the Notes app just feels like I can put drafts in there, I can put unfinished poems in there, random thoughts in there. It's where I keep my grocery list, it's where I keep my to-do list, and so writing in there feels really low stakes. This leads me to my second tip, is to write everything, even the bad stuff, especially the bad stuff. No one becomes the greatest writer or a New York Times bestseller overnight, and you have to start somewhere. You have to give yourself permission to be bad, to be a bad writer. If this means literally writing yourself a permission slip, something like, "Dear Taya, you have permission to be a bad writer," then please write that to yourself because you need this. When we allow ourselves to just express whatever we're feeling and not care or worry if it's good or not, we really produce more art. And it gives us a starting point. You can't edit a blank page, as the saying goes. So write something, write anything, and then leave the editing for later. Which is tip number 3, do not edit. Please, I beg you, do not start editing until you're completely finished writing, because otherwise you're going to end up like me, where I start with like a 300-word draft, and then it comes down to like 150, and then I completely lose the point of the story. I'm super guilty of this, so no shame, no judgment, but please do not start editing until you've completely finished writing. It will really diminish your work, and it will stop you from making more, which usually you just need to get stuff out there first before you start cutting away. Tip number 4 is to have a routine or a schedule. If you want writing to be your job, you have to treat it like it. You need to block out time in your calendar, sit down and write on a weekly or daily basis. As I mentioned in the beginning, I'm a full-time student and I work part-time, so being able to write as much as I do really comes down to making it a habit. It's fun to romanticize the idea of being an artist, that you're just gonna get hit by inspiration in the middle of the day, or when you're out at the park, or when you're back at home drinking tea, but it doesn't always work like that. And sometimes you have to do the hard work of just sitting down uninspired, which will lead me to my last tip. But before I get there, I want to give a bonus tip. Writing is sometimes a very solitary art, and it can feel isolating and lonely to just be sitting at home writing by yourself. So my bonus tip is to join a community. Join a group of artists, a group of poets or writers who are interested in the same topics as you, and not only will it make the experience more fun, but it'll hold you accountable as well. And if you're looking for a community to join right now, leave a comment on this video about what you write and why you love writing so we can grow the community right here. Now for my favorite, tip number 5, read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. It will change your life. I read that book last year and it just completely changed how I see making art. Gilbert talks about how inspiration is an energy. It is like a force and no one artist can lay claim to it. We cannot be entitled to inspiration. And when you look at it that way, it takes some of the pressure off because you don't always have to be inspired to create. Not only that, but it made me think that having a ritual is really powerful. Before you sit down to write, think about what you can do to call inspiration to you. It can be as simple as lighting a candle, a specific notebook, a pen, maybe it's a little dance you do. Oh my god, you could use food. You could get a specific tea or drink that you really like a matcha or something, and then you can sit down with biscuits and scones and crackers. Oh my god, I'm so hungry. All jokes aside, creating a ritual can really help you get into the mindset to create art. As someone who has written so many poems, I can assure you that a lot of them did not come from inspiration alone. Sometimes you have to sit down with a prompt. Sometimes you just have to work with some crappy poetry or some crappy writing and then build it into something better. But whatever you do, please don't stop writing. The world can use more voices, more art, especially in times like now. So I really hope you enjoyed these 5 tips, and if you're looking forward to trying any one of these tips, leave a comment below. If you have any other questions or ideas for future videos, I would also really appreciate to hear those in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Happy writing!